What if a handful of bombers, launched from a floating airfield that was never meant to exist, shattered an empire's sense of invincibility and quietly set the stage for the bloodiest jungle battle of the Pacific War? That is where this story truly begins, not on a beach, but on the deck of an American aircraft carrier pitching through the cold gray waters of the North Pacific in April 1942, carrying a gamble so desperate that failure seemed almost guaranteed. In the dark months after Pearl Harbor, the United States was reeling. The Japanese Empire had swept across the Pacific with terrifying speed. Hong Kong, Singapore, the Philippines, the Dutch East Indies, each victory reinforcing a powerful belief inside Tokyo that America lacked the will and reach to strike back. Japanese cities slept unafraid. Their leaders believed the Pacific Ocean itself was a moat no enemy could cross. Then came the Doolittle Raid. 16 B-25 bombers, never designed to launch from an aircraft carrier, roared into the sky from the USS Hornet far earlier than planned after being spotted by Japanese patrol boats. They flew low over the ocean, running on courage and fumes, and struck Tokyo, Yokohama, Nagoya, and Kobe. Militarily, the damage was limited. Psychologically, it was devastating. For the first time, the Japanese home islands had been bombed. Civilians panicked. Military planners were humiliated. The myth of absolute security was dead. Japan now understood a terrible truth. The Americans were not finished. They were only beginning to fight. That shock rippled through the highest levels of Japanese command. Determined to extend their defensive perimeter and destroy American carrier power once and for all, Japan rushed toward a decisive confrontation. 2 months later, at Midway, that ambition collapsed in flames as 4 Japanese aircraft carriers were sunk in a single day. But Midway did not end the war. It merely tilted the balance. The real test of endurance, logistics, and human will was still ahead, and it would erupt on a little-known island in the Solomon chain, Guadalcanal. In August 1942, American reconnaissance discovered that Japanese forces were building an airfield on Guadalcanal, one that could threaten supply lines between the United States and Australia. If Japan completed it, the Pacific might once again tilt in their favor. So, for the first time in the war, the United States went on the offensive. On August 7th, U.S. Marines stormed ashore under a blazing tropical sun, meeting surprisingly light resistance. Within days, they captured the half-built airstrip and named it Henderson Field, after a fallen Marine aviator. What looked like an easy victory quickly turned into a nightmare. Japan would not give up Guadalcanal. Not now, not ever. At least not willingly. What followed was 6 months of brutal, grinding combat, on land, at sea, and in the air. Unlike anything the Pacific had yet seen, Japanese troops launched relentless night attacks through choking jungle and knee-deep mud, screaming as they charged American lines. Marines fought with rifles, machine guns, bayonets, and bare hands, often holding their positions by inches. Disease ravaged both sides. Malaria, dysentery, and jungle rot killed almost as surely as bullets. Supplies were scarce. Food ran low. Ammunition ran lower. For weeks at a time, the Marines survived on captured Japanese rice while defending Henderson Field against near-daily bombardment. Above them, the skies became a killing ground. American pilots flying out of Henderson, soon nicknamed the Cactus Air Force, took off from cratered runways, patched together under fire to intercept waves of Japanese bombers and fighters. Many planes never returned. At sea, the struggle was just as savage. Nighttime naval battles erupted in the narrow waters later called Iron Bottom Sound, named for the dozens of warships sent to the ocean floor. Cruisers vanished in minutes. Destroyers burned through the night. Sailors fought fires, flooding, and shrapnel in pitch-black chaos, often unaware who was winning until dawn revealed the wreckage. The Japanese poured men into Guadalcanal using fast destroyer runs, the infamous Tokyo Express. but they could not deliver enough food or heavy equipment. Soldiers starved in the jungle, weakened before they ever reached the front lines. Entire units withered away, victims of hunger as much as gunfire. By late 1942, even Japan's high command began to see the truth. Guadalcanal was bleeding them dry. America's industrial strength, ships, planes, fuel, and men were overwhelming. The realization that began with the Doolittle Raid had now become undeniable. This was no short war. This was a war Japan could not easily win. In February 1943, under the cover of darkness, Japanese forces evacuated the last survivors from Guadalcanal. The island was finally secure. The cost was staggering. Over 25,000 Japanese dead, more than 7,000 Americans killed, and dozens of ships and hundreds of aircraft destroyed. Yet the meaning of Guadalcanal went far beyond the numbers. It was the moment the strategic initiative in the Pacific permanently shifted to the United States. From here on, the Allies would advance, slowly, brutally, island by island, toward Japan itself. Together, the Doolittle Raid and the Battle of Guadalcanal marked a profound turning point in World War II. One shattered Japan's illusion of safety. The other shattered its ability to dominate the Pacific. They proved that American resolve was real, that sacrifice would be paid in blood, and that the road to victory would be long, merciless, and unavoidable. Guadalcanal was not just a battle. It was the moment the Pacific War stopped being Japan's conquest and became America's relentless counterattack.